Welcome everybody to the 10,000 subscriber Q&A. I'll say that again, 10,000 subscribers. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. Firstly, I want to thank you all so much for getting me over the line. 10,000 subs, absolutely insane. This time last year, I was sitting probably on about 600, 700, something like that. So this year has been absolutely mental. So thanks so much for your support. So I'm not sure about these Q&A videos. I've seen people do them and I thought about it and I posted up on my YouTube community section whether I should do one or not. And overwhelmingly you said yes. So here it is. So there's an absolute shed load of questions. I'll get through them as quickly as I can. I've got a cup of coffee to keep me going. Cheers everybody. So we'll get cracking and we'll do one at a time. We'll try and get through them as quick as we can. Cheers. Right, let's get cracking then. We'll start off. So we'll go through them as quickly as we can. So Flame Oz, nice hoodie Dave. Thank you. I think it's the same hoodie that I'm wearing today that I wore on the last video about the Q&A. So cheers. Paolo Hadfi, congratulations. Thank you, Paolo. Here we go. Hey Dave, congrats for reaching the milestone. Well deserved. Been enjoying the content and your personality. My question would be, what kind of history you have as a gamer and what was your first experience of driving games? Oh my word. Well, I've been a gamer pretty much all my life from ZX Spectrum days. So back in the 80s, I played a game called Pole Position. I think it was on the ZX Spectrum. I remember everything being green and rubbish. But that's my first recollection of a driving game then. I played Jeff Crammon's Grand Prix, I think it was on the Amiga. And then I remember going to a video arcade years ago and there was a game called Hard Driving. I don't know if you can remember it, but it had a H pattern shifter, clutch, really blocky graphics, but at the time it blew me away. That was kind of my most vivid memory of a real driving sim. From then I got a 3DO. I had the first Need for Speed on the 3DO, and then Grand Prix Legends on the PC back in the 90s, I think it was. But then I had a massive, huge gap from gaming, although I had a console, and I didn't even know sim racing existed until I found iRacing 3 years ago now. So thank you, Hardware Beer, for that one. I hope that answers that. So Ginger Malteser. Nice one, Dave. If you knew everything you know now about sim racing and your hardware, what would you have done differently? Not a lot, to be honest. I think I started off basic with a single 24-inch screen, G29. I think you need to find out if you enjoy it first. So start small. Don't go all in because it might not be for you. So start small and then slowly build up. That would be my advice. I wouldn't have done anything differently at all, I don't think. What are your recommendations for anyone trying to get into sim racing on a budget, such as games to start off with and gear? Like I just mentioned, start small, get a G29 or a used T300, T500, something relatively cheap. iRacing, I love iRacing, but Assetto Corsa, that's pretty cheap on Steam. Project Cars 2, and then it will give you an idea of what you like, if it's for you. And you can do online racing on those two as well. So that would be my recommendations. Start off with like a G29 pedal set. You can get those pretty cheap, brand new actually. And start off with like a Assetto Corsa titles like that. So that was from, who was that from? That was Sneaky Break 816. So the next one's from Smokey. Is YouTube your full-time job? No, it is not. I do have a full-time job. This is just a bit of a hobby. Did you gain experience in real motorsport? Asks Kart Racer 881. No, not really. I've always done track days on motorcycles, things like that, but never ever have I driven a car on a racetrack in real life. So no, done a few track days, motocross, supermoto, that kind of thing, but nothing car-wise. Justin Treweek, I can't believe you only have 10,000 on the base of the content. It should be much more. Thank you, Justin. You're a gentleman. I'm going to heart these as I go, so I know I've answered them. Sorry, I should have done that at the beginning. Right, there we go. So the next one from Nicholas Dawson. I haven't proofread these either. A lot of them anyway. Excuse me. Dave, first of all, it's a great video on streams. Fill my evenings working away and I've picked up many tips and tricks. On to my question. As someone who is currently on a G29 setup and looking to upgrade, I see you went through an upgrade path similar to what I'm going to do. Logitech to Fanatec, then to DD and Huesinkveld. What are the main things you personally felt you gained from the move up the quality levels in the pedals and wheels? The biggest thing I've noticed throughout my upgrade process is the pedals. So I went from the G29 pedals to the T3PA Thrustmaster pedals. That was a massive difference. But then I went from those to the Fanatec CSL Elite with the load cell. Again, that was a huge difference. Load cell is a game changer totally. So if you haven't got load cells, and if you can afford it, get some. And then from them to the Huesinkvelds was night and day again. So that's been the main thing which has made me more consistent, I think. I think I still think the same as I did, the racing lines and all that. But I think I'm just a little bit more consistent with the better gear, really. Hope that answers your question. Next one from Bell Curve. A couple of questions. Do you have a day job still? Yes, I do. Has any sim racing company reached out to you for sponsorship yet? Not really. No, I've had a few conversations with a few people, but nothing. I wouldn't like to tie the channel down to a particular sponsor. I'm open to obviously little bits and pieces, which would help me improve my equipment. If it would also give you guys something as well. So no sponsorship as yet. Don de Groot, Bell Curve. Don de Groot. Hi Dave, no question from me personally, but maybe for new sim racers, how to get started in sim racing, what sims to start out with. I mentioned that Assetto Corsa and Project Cars, they are relatively cheap. I have Assetto Corsa, R-Factor 2 Race Room. Those are good titles as well. Race Room, I think that's free, isn't it? I think, but you pay for the content. But yeah, those Assetto Corsa, I think, Race Room, Project Cars 2, I think. And thanks on the congrats, by the way, Don. Christian Gruber, you deserved it. Oh, thank you, Christian. Felix Kims. Okay, Dave, quick one for you. Who's your supplier for the pills you take pre-race to keep you calm during the races? No, that's it's taken me 3 years to stay calm. Really, I used to get really wound up. I used to get angry, but what can you do? What's done is done. Move on to the next one. Only worry about things that you're in control of, and once you've been punted off the track, you can't control what's happened. So don't worry about it. Serious question now. Is it worth it in the end investing $1,000 into sim racing? I have a basic cockpit, but would one day hope for the fancy rig studios. Excuse me. It would depend, Felix, if this is your hobby. I mean, this is my hobby. This is what I do. I don't go out on the beer. Well, I do. I'll go out and have a beer now and again, but I don't go out weekly on the beer. I'd no longer go and watch my local football team. I don't have a motorbike now. I used to always have bikes. So this is my hobby. So for me, investing all the cash into it is worth it. As I've mentioned earlier on, I would start small and see if it's for you, if you get the bug. If you do, then go for it. For me personally, every penny that I've spent on the rig, I've not regretted one thing really. I have regretted one thing. I used to have a Samsung 49-inch ultra-wide. I regret getting rid of that. I'm thinking about getting another one of those. But there we go. That's from Felix. Right, so, player 23. Right, I have several questions. Right, are you a bus driver? No, I'm not a bus driver. What are you doing to pay for all this hardware? Well, I work. I'm a civil servant. I've got a full-time job. What is more important, SR or IR? I don't know. Safety rating, I think. I think you get much closer racing, I think, when you've got a decent safety rating. A lot of people now use caps and JRT and stuff like that. So everybody kind of knows what other people's safety ratings are. So if I'm racing against somebody that's an A-class, high A-class, then I know I can race wheel to wheel with them. So I think with a higher SR, you get better racing. IR, you get higher splits, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the racing's better at all. Favourite car track combo? I think, oh blimey, it used to be the Mercedes at Road Atlanta, but I think it's going to be the Porsche. What track? Oh blimey. Barcelona, maybe. The Porsche Barcelona. How did you get so good at iRacing? I wouldn't say I'm so good. I think just time, practice. I don't know how many races I've done, maybe close to 2,000 races on iRacing now. So it's just seat time, just practice. Real life favourite car. I think if I won some money, I would buy a Nissan GTR. That would be my choice. When will you host the next community race? This Sunday coming up. Sunday the 1st of December, I think it is. How do you get sponsored? Do you ask or do they approach you first? I don't know. When I've done things on the channel, I've been approached. But it's all about reaching out to people and having a discussion. I've got a giveaway coming up in relation to some wall art, some circuits, and I actually approached the guy to buy the products, and we got talking, and he's agreed to do a giveaway. So it's just generally comes up in conversation, really. Next one. So that was from Player 23. Next one, Garfield 21100. Congratulations, Dave, for your 10k subscribers. How and when do you start to be a sim racer? What's your other passion? So it was January 2017 I started to be a sim racer. Before that, I didn't even know sim racing was a thing. I'd played driving games before, and Grand Prix Legends, I think, was the last one I played on the PC. So January 2017. What's my other passion? A couple of passions, really. Motorcycles. Love my motorbikes. I've always had motorbikes. I haven't got one at the moment. I came off a motocross bike in 2016 and bust my shoulder up pretty bad. So I haven't really had a bike since then, really. Maybe 2017. Football, obviously family and all that goes without saying. Right, so that's from Garfield. So next one is Dan Shawley. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses, or 100 duck-sized horses all day long? Just kick them out of the way. Just punt them. Carl Pierce, what inspired you to get into iRacing? How do you prepare yourself before starting a race? iRacing, man. Like I said, I built a computer in January 2017, and I'd been out of the computer scene, the PC scene, for probably 15, 20 years. So I built one in January 2017 and found this thing called Steam. Now, I didn't even know what Steam was. It wasn't around when I last played PC games. And I saw this game on there called, I'll call it a game because that's what I thought it was, a game called iRacing. I think it was £7, I think £7 British. I thought, that's cheap. I'll have a look at that. Didn't have a wheel, just had a gamepad. So the first race I had was at Laguna Seca with a gamepad. And then I found out after that it was subscription based, and it was that price every month back then, and the rest is history, really. How do you prepare yourself before starting a race? Now, really badly. I used to practice, I used to put a bit of time in, but with work, with doing YouTube and all the rest of it, I don't really have a lot of time to practice like I used to. So pretty much when you see a race on YouTube, I'm lucky if I've done 5 minutes practice before those races. So that's my excuse for why the performances have been so bad. So thanks, Carl. So Edilson Herrera, what categories of motorsport do you like the most? I don't really watch a lot of motorsports on TV, or I don't really go and watch it anywhere in real life. I like touring cars. I like MotoGP, superbikes, anything to do with bikes, really. I love watching freestyle motocross. Yeah, pretty much that's it, really. Any car racing, I quite like any car racing. If I watch IMSA, the real life IMSA on YouTube and all that, I don't know who anybody is because I don't religiously follow it, so I tend not to watch it really. So thanks, Adilson. Defiant Eli, I always forget you have only 10,000 subs. Quality of the content. Oh, thank you, man. Cheers, appreciate that. Dominic Roseland, hello, Dave. Wishing you continued success. My question: what was one of the earliest driving games that you enjoyed playing? I think I mentioned that earlier on. That was pole position on the ZX Spectrum 48K, the one with the rubber keys. I think that's the one I remember. I remember I hammered Need for Speed on the Panasonic 3DO. If anybody remembers that, let me know. Make sure I haven't dreamt it. But I remember buying this Panasonic 3DO and I had Need for Speed on there. And Road Rash as well. So, Bakel, hopefully that's how you pronounce it. Hi Dave, congrats. What's the best and favourite track and car combo in iRacing? I think I mentioned that. I'm going to say the Porsche 911 Cup car at Barcelona. Ali Hayes, congrats. Thank you, Ali. Tim Jacobs. Hey, Dave, do you have any real-life racing ambitions or history? Do you drive on track days or are planning to? No, I don't have any ambitions. I'm far too old. I wouldn't be able to get in and out of the car with the roll cage now. My aging body is so stiff. Track days, never driven a car on a track, as I mentioned, but done motorcycle track days. Thank you, Tim. Next one from Bar Sorrow. I don't know anything about you, Dave, and I'm not a prying type, so my question is fairly simple. When did you start with sim racing, and had your interest for it came from gaming in general, or had you been a motorsport enthusiast? I think I mentioned that earlier on. So it was January 2017 when I discovered iRacing. Didn't know anything about sim racing until then, didn't even know it existed. Didn't know it existed. And it's come on massively in that 3 years. So yeah, I've always been a gamer. I've always had consoles, well, PlayStation really. When I didn't have a PC, I always had a PlayStation. But it was generally just for FIFA, Call of Duty, that type of thing, which I don't play those games anymore really. Next one is from M. Gonzalez. Hi Dave, congratulations. What's your background? And I'm referencing your work for a living. Well, I'm a civil servant, work in the public sector. That's my job. Work shifts. Sure you can work it out. Samet, 10k is amazing. Keep it up, Dave. I love your Learn the Track series. Question is, what is the best way to learn a track? How do you do it? Blimey. Slowly. Go slow, really. Try and work on each sector at a time. So you're starting on turn 1. Try and brake later for turn 1 every time. Don't try and think what you're going to do for the rest of the lap. Just try and nail certain sectors every lap. And once you've got sector 1 down, then work on sector 2 the next few laps. So it takes a while to learn a track properly, but that's how I do it. I break it down and think about, right, I'll nail turn 1 and 2, then move on to the next ones. So thank you, Samet. Armando Colmenares. Hey, Dave, big fan. Thank you, man. Congratulations on this milestone. Cheers for that. You deserve it. Deserve a lot more. Thanks. Do you enjoy Formula 1? Oh, man, I really want to enjoy Formula 1. I really want to like Formula 1, but I just can't bring myself to watch it. And probably, I think a lot of it is because it's on Sky TV here in the UK, which is a paid service, and I don't really subscribe to the sports now at all, so I don't really... And with working shifts, I don't really have time to watch it. I would only enjoy it if I watched it live, and because I work shifts and weekends, I can't watch it live, so that's probably why I don't really watch it. Constipation, Dave. Congrats on 10k, thank you. Oh my word. Mrs. Dave Cam, when are you going to do some housework? I don't know whether I should reply to that. What should I say? She might watch this. I don't know. When you leave me some to do, you're such a good partner that you get it all done. You don't. I do my little bit. You don't. You just winding me up. I do my bit. I put my marigolds on now and again. You love it. Dons Mayhew. Is that how you pronounce it? Congrats on nearly 10k. So I'm over 10k now. My question is, which is your favourite track in iRacing? Which track do you hope will make it to iRacing in the future? Oh my word. My favourite track in iRacing. I know my favourite combo is Barcelona and the Porsche, but my favourite track. I really like Alton Park, but it's not the best track for racing. It's not very wide. I'm going to say Road Atlanta or Road America. I'm going to say Road Atlanta. Excuse me. That's my favourite track. So that was from Don's. Next one, Single Figures UK. Congratulations on the 10k subs. It's really unbelievable. It's only 10k. Oh, thank you. How long have you been a sim racer? iRacer since January 2017. What was your career route on iRacing? I didn't really have one, really. I generally race what I race. You know, I look at because I can't really plan it with working shifts, I jump on iRacing and whatever's there to race, I generally race. It's not that often that I plan a race in advance. So, career route is road, obviously. But I just race whatever I can race. Sorry, I'll just have to have a drink. Cheers. Right, so next one. Daz Fell. Glad I stumbled across your post for your V2 I bought. You did. Daz came to my house and bought my old V2. So Daz is the only person that's ever, apart from family obviously, that's ever had to go on my rig. Enjoyed watching the videos ever since. I'll beat you one day. Cheers, Daz. Colorado 72. Are you planning on streaming endurance races like 6+ hour races? I will. Yeah, definitely. It's just trying to fit them in. I've been really unlucky with work when the big events have been like Daytona and stuff like that. So if I'm not working, I'll definitely take part and I'll stream it. So next one, David Bolton. Are you a full-time racer, sim racer, or do you have another job? I have another job. Civil servant. So this is just literally a hobby, this one. So Nick Hagan. So happy for you. It's so awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. Question is, where do you see the future of this channel and community? We who don't make videos have no clue what it takes to make a video from the start to the end. I guess my question is it something you would do full time, or would you like to keep it as a hobby? No, it's not something that I could ever see me doing full time. It's not secure enough. Obviously, you've got family to support, things to pay for, and I don't know how much money it takes to live off YouTube, but I've got 10,000 subscribers. And it pays for my iRacing and my internet every month, pretty much. That's what it pays for. So I would have to have a lot of subscribers to be able to live off the income. But that's not a guaranteed income, so no. I would never want to do this full time. Where do I see the future of this channel and community? I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. It's a cracking community. The Discord... people, well, everybody that contributes in the comments is superb, but the Discord is such a friendly place. That's what I want. I don't want any salt. I don't want any rubbish, any bullying, or any of that. I want a place where people can come and chill out, talk about sim racing. So that's the future. That's what I see. Is I want to build up a community where everybody's happy to ask a question and they're not going to get flamed for it. So there we go. So that's from Nick. Will Godley, what's your favourite episode of Top Gear? Oh, now the Grand Tour, blimey. Well, we've got the old Stiggy behind us here. Favourite episode of Top Gear? I think it's got to be when they went to America and I remember a particular part of that where Jeremy Clarkson had rigged up a shower in his car and that creased me. So that's probably my favourite episode of Top Gear, when Richard Hammond had the pickup truck. I don't know if you remember it. Thank you, Will. So, Max Jones, what's your car history in real life or any experience in real life motorsport? Not really experience in motorsport, motorcycles, track days, a bit of motocross, supermoto. Car history, well, the first car I had, if that's what you're asking, was a Mark II Ford Escort 2-door, but it had the square headlight. It was a 1.3L, it was. But I put some wider steel rims on it, 5.5J rims. I replaced the 1.3 engine with a 1.6 cross-flow twin-choke Weber carb. An RS 2000 spoiler on the rear boot lid. So that's my first ever car. Since then, it's gone downhill. I had a Fiat Super Mirafiori. That was quick, 2-litre twin cam. And then it just got more sensible. And the last car I had was an Audi A5 S-Line, which was a cracking car, but I've got rid of that now. And I currently drive a Nissan Duke. That's what I currently drive. But it's nice. It's got all the leather and all that. It's a nice car, but nothing exciting. So that's from Max Gareth Messam. How many subscribers do you need to make this your full-time job? I think I just touched on that, Gareth. I've no idea. I've no idea. I couldn't tell you, but 10,000. Nowhere near. Right, Paul Stoker. Very well done, Dave, and absolutely deserved. I wouldn't have built my 8020 rig without the confidence in your design guide video. Oh, thank you, man. Cheers. Thank you, Paul. Pleased it helped. What's your racing background? I've answered that. Not a lot, really. Track days on motorcycles. That's pretty much it. From David Heavey. Oh, here we go. Why did you make that video of how you put your rig together? You cost me a fortune, you prick. Cheers, Dave. Serious question. Do you still remember your first win in iRacing? I don't really, but I know it was at Laguna Seca, because you've got the certificate thing, haven't you? It was Laguna Seca in the Mazda MX-5. I don't remember it, but I remember back then, like, I used to get so nervous, like really, really, like my heart used to beat out my chest. I still get that a little bit now, still get a little bit nervous, but that was where it was, Laguna Seca in the Mazda MX-5. So next one from Marco Leo. Hi David, subscribed to your channel some months ago when you had more than 5,000 subscribers, but I am proudly within the first 10 out of Mrs. Dave's Cam channel. She'll be chuffed. So when are you going to do some housework? Don't give her any ammunition, Marco. Don't side with her. Gonzo Gaming. Dave, there is only one question. What is the answer to the universe? Oh my word. Where do I start? I don't know, is the answer. Be kind. Be kind. I know that's not an answer to the universe, but in my universe, that's the answer, really. What wheel do you recommend for beginning sim races from Smelt? G29's a cracking little wheel. You can pick them up cheaply second hand. T500, I used to had a T500, that was a good wheel, but I've heard the T300 is a better wheel, or it better force feedback than the T500, so maybe those. Question from Absolute Dan. Hi Dan, congrats on the milestone, thank you. Question to you is, what is your ultimate goal for the future of not only your channel, but your racing career as well? I don't really have any goals, really, with regards to YouTube sim racing, because it's not real life, is it? And it can just disappear just like that, so no goals, really. Just have fun and enjoy it. This is kind of my hobby now, so just really have fun with it, really, and get to know some new people and bring together people with the similar interests. So it sounds a bit corny, but that's my goal. But nothing as far as racing career. Chivan, if I shave my head, will I be as fast as you? Sorry, I had to. Possibly. You should try it. It is it's liberating, honestly. Any plans for the next year and getting the channel to the next level? Or are you happy with the place it is right now and keep on steadily growing? Yep, it is what it is. If people watch my stuff, great. If they don't, then have a nice life. It's no problem. I'm not going to actively promote it anywhere, do anything. I'm just going to do my thing, and if people like it, great. If they don't, then there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm just happy, just plodding on. There we go. So that was from Chivan. Next one from Ruka Lopen. Is that how you pronounce it? Ruka? We've all been there. If you're chasing lap times and you reach a point where there's no more improvement, but you know the pros are a second faster, what do you do to come near these times? Setup change, tutorials, force feedback settings, or do you say that's fast enough? A lot of the time, yeah, I can't get any closer to those guys. Some of them are lightning quick, and no matter what I do, I'm never going to be that good. My reactions just aren't good enough. Some people are real life racers for a reason, and I'm not saying everybody on iRacing is a real life racer that's at the top end, but they've got that something that I don't have. So yeah, sometimes I'll watch the replay of them, see what gear they're in, because it could just be a gear selection issue. They might be going down a gear to get the car to rotate. They might be trail braking a bit more. So a lot of the time, I watch some of them on track. When I see their laps, I look at their lap times that they've previously done and see what they've done. So I don't really change force feedback settings. Setups, I'll change slight things, but not a great deal. Maybe just rear wing, the rear differential or the anti-roll bars at the front. That's all I really mess about with. So next one, Steve Hall. How do I convince the wife that I need a sim racing rig? I snuck the wheel, pedals and shifter in the house okay, but not sure how I'm going to sneak in the rig seat and triple monitor setup without getting noticed. Steve, you've got to figure out a way of getting things under the radar. You've got to do it. Every bloke does it. The amount of eBay bargains that I've had over the years, it was only £10. That's what you've got to do. So I don't know. You're just going to have to treat her well and be nice to her, and hopefully she'll let you have it. That's my advice. Cheers, Steve. Harry Rutland. Away from sim racing, what do you do as a profession? I'm a civil servant, work in the public sector. Snail Racing, 10K's incredible, Dave. Owner, your hard work and commitment achieved it. Thank you. Would you consider joining me in a Snail Racing community race in week 13? I'm planning to host a race with my subs. They don't know yet. Having you join us would be amazing. Well, week 13, I'm not going to be here. Thankfully, I'm going to miss week 13. Otherwise, I would have jumped in. But thanks for the offer. But week 13 is a no-go area. If I get her on a sim in week 13, I'm going to be on a Seto Corsa or something. Because my iRating is... my safety rating is in a position now where I can't really risk running week 13. Thank you, Snail Racing. So, Stavros Sauludis, what is your dream car in high school and what is your dream setup in sim racing? Equipment and game ideas. Now, dream car in high school, my word. Ferrari F40, that was probably, was that mid to late 80s? Ferrari F40, love that car. And the McLaren was its rival with the 3 seats. So they were my kind of dream cars growing up. What's your dream setup in sim racing? I don't know. I'd like a motion rig, but with other people living in the house, it'd be too noisy. So I'd be restricted to when I could use it. But that's kind of what I would like, really. Question from Sam: how do you make your hair so nice? Well, it's a lot of time and effort, Sam. You've got to get up really early in the morning, get it washed, and let it dry naturally because it goes curly otherwise. So, thanks, Sam. From Sky Osin, in my 8th month on iRacing, and it's been a long road getting faster. I mainly have been practicing minimum races simply because I kept losing. I'm a C now. That's why I just went to practicing. Do you think it's a bad idea, or should I just take my losses like a man and continue to lose? You've got to get out there and race. You can practice as much as you want, but nothing beats racing. And you don't get experience from racing unless you are racing. So my advice would be, get out there. If you finish at the back, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter as long as you've had a good race. The best races aren't always at the front. I've had some absolutely superb races at the back of the pack. So don't worry about it. Don't get hung up about where you're finishing. Just get out there, have fun. That's my advice. Bull Gear VR, what do you do for a living? Civil servant. Kindusi, hey Rob, congrats on the 10k, great job, thank you Rob. Sean Martin, do you compete in any of the endurance races, and if so, why don't you live stream or record them for the channel? PS, keep up the awesome videos. I don't compete in them very often, to be honest, because of work, my work schedule and stuff and family life. It competes with iRacing and sim racing, and that's always going to win, isn't it? Your real life stuff's always going to beat sim racing stuff. But I will do some at some point if I can do it, if I can fit it in with work and stuff. So that's from Sean. 67, Black Fastback, what do you do for a living and what do you drive in real life? I think I've answered those. I'm a civil servant, work in the public sector. And what do you drive in real life? I drive a Nissan Duke. So Irv Leonard. Hi Dave, please tell us the best ways to get started, but more importantly, please outline all the needed equipment. Please tell us what you use and what you feel is required to get started. Oh, blimey. Right, you need wheel pedals, obviously, computer and a monitor. Happy days, that's all you need. And an internet connection, bang, you're on iRacing. That's all you need. And then you can get a feel for it and see if you like it. All my stuff's listed in the description. I won't go through it all because it's boring for a lot of people, so I won't go through it. But if you want to see what I've got, it's in the description of the video. So John G. Hi, how's the new DD wheelbase and why didn't you do a Fanatec DD wheelbase? I love the Accuforce. It's great. It takes a little bit of setting up with the software, but I really, really like it. And why didn't you go Fanatec DD wheelbase? Cost, essentially. This came up at the right price at the right time, and I had just enough money to buy it. So that's why I got this one. Juan Damiani, race with subs. I do race with subs. This Sunday, 1st of December, I've got a 90-minute race at Imola with subs, so jump on board. Fanatic, how often are you able to find free time for racing and how busy are you with real life stuff? Really busy. I work full time and my daily commute to work since I've moved is 85 miles each way. So that's about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes each way. So I've got my 10 hours at work or however many hours I do that day, and then I've got 3-4 hours on top of that. So I don't get a massive amount of time for racing now when I'm at work. When I'm off, my partner, my better half, she's really cool with me doing this. So she's happy for me to sit in here. And I think she's happy because she gets her own peace and quiet. But yeah, so I don't really have a lot of time for sim racing, but I do the best I can. So the races that you see on the channel now are pretty much the only races that I'm doing at the moment. So a question from Gwil Nascimento. I don't really have a question that's already been asked by others, but just want to let you know how much I enjoy your channel. Thank you. Cheers for that. Appreciate that. Andy Hitchens, do you feel that sim racing has given you the skills to drive a race car in real life? And is that something you would want to do if given the opportunity? Yeah, I think so. I'm not saying competitively, but at least I understand racing lines, trail braking, apexing early, apexing late, that kind of thing. So I think I've got a grasp of what a race driver's thinking when they're going around the track. But I'm not saying that I would be any good at it at all. And is it something you would want to do if given the opportunity? I'd love to drive a race car on a track, but I don't think I would like to race competitively, but I'd like to drive a race car on the track, definitely. Thanks, Andy. Jason S. Hi, Dave. I've been racing for 3 months now and loving it. Your videos help me the most. Thank you, man. The Let's Learn the Track and the quirky iRacing settings video. How's the new direct drive wheel? Settings overwhelming. Accuforce, are you faster? New direct drive's great. I don't think I'm faster. I think I crash less with the Accuforce. I feel the car understeer, oversteer with this wheelbase where I couldn't with the Fanatec. So yeah, I don't think I'm quicker, but I think I'm a bit safer, I think. Richard Bagshaw, what inspires you to keep making great content for sim racing? And do you have any tips for anyone looking to grow a channel on YouTube in this niche hobby we have? What inspires me to keep creating content? People watch it. Naturally, I like to help people, so whatever it is, I like to try and give people a hand, a leg up, if I can, with whatever it is. And I remember what it was like when I started iRacing, GT racing. I didn't have a clue, and there was nothing really out there to help me along the way. So that's why I do the Learn the Track stuff, is just to give people a leg up, and hopefully it helps. Do you have any tips on anyone looking to grow a channel on YouTube? It's tough. You've just got to keep plugging away. I started YouTube with my son. Both started a channel just as a little bit of a father-son project, and it kind of took off from there, really. So I didn't have an agenda with YouTube. It just kind of took off. So you've just got to be yourself. That's all I would say, is be yourself. This monotone voice you hear is me. So this is me. Don't try and be anybody else. Don't try and mimic anybody else. There's other sim racing YouTubers out there that I could try and mimic, but it wouldn't work because that's not who I am. We're all different. So that's all I would say. Be yourself and just be consistent and just plug away at it, really. So that's from Richard. So next one, Ordinary Hermit. Hello, Dave. Do you race in real life? If so, what types of racing in cars? No, I don't race in real life, unfortunately. So Legends Nation video. What is the YouTube Twitter clock over your left shoulder? That there, it's called a Lemetric time. So it does all kinds of things. I can control it off my phone and get it to display text, Twitter followers, Twitch, and all the rest of it. So it does loads of stuff, weather, all the rest of it. Not cheap, but good bit of kit. Like it. It's an alarm clock and all that as well. So the next one is from Jamal Gando. How long did it take you to learn trail braking? Have you ever tested a hydro-based brake? Do you prefer LC or hydro? Well, to answer the last part, I've never tried a hydro brake, so I wouldn't know. But I would imagine it's really good. How long did it take you to learn trail braking? I don't even know I'm doing it, trail braking. I don't know if you when you're racing, you're driving and you're not thinking, oh, I must trail brake here. You're just using the brake to adjust the pitch of the car and the attitude of the car. So I can't say how long it took to learn it. It just kind of comes, doesn't it? And I'm sure we all do it without realising it, to be honest. So from Rabson, what is your favourite or most memorable moment in your sim racing history? Oh my word. That's got to be the Indy 500 win. Was that this year? It was, wasn't it? I'm sure it was this year. I won the Indianapolis 500. I jumped in it, no preparation. I think I downloaded a set from VRS Racing School or Virtual Racing School. Jumped in, I streamed it on Twitch. Thankfully, streamed it on Twitch because I had there was quite a few people watching that obviously knew what they were talking about with regards to oval and that kind of thing. And so they guided me through the process. So I started off at the back, then worked my way up, and then ended up getting a penalty and dropped right to the back, and then got towards the front top 10 with about 20 or 30 to go, and got a lucky caution. So I ended up battling with a guy with about 10 to go and managed to come up with a bit of a ballsy move on a back marker in between turn 3 and 4, which gave us a little bit of breathing room. So, but I couldn't have done that without the help from the guys in chat. So that's my memorable moment on iRacing, definitely. So a question from, well, not a question, Richard. Congratulations, thank you. Dirty Airhole 69. How do I stop your videos from popping up on my phone? I'm not even a subscriber and I blocked you and they still come up. Well, that's a message right there. That's a sign that you need to listen to me and watch my videos. So thank you for that. Cheers for watching. You're obviously watching to comment, so thank you. Jelly Bean Tiger. I bought a power screwdriver and a soldering iron and a 3D wrap pot pack to fix my G27 gas pedal, but found out my Allen screws and the pedal mounts are all rounded. Well, there's nothing worse than a rounded Allen screw. I feel your pain. Favourite F1 livery of all time? Oh man. I don't know really. The Marlboro one, the red and white Marlboro one, maybe. I don't know who that was, what team that was, but that's the only one that really stands out. Cameron Faulkner. How do you balance making great content for us while spending quality time with the wife? I have a feeling she's really supportive of your hobby. She really is supportive, but you've got to do your bit. You can't just do this, can you? You've got to do this when there's nothing else that you need to do. So you've got to spend time. A happy wife is a happy life, is what I would say. I think we all agree. Joel E. Congrats on the 10k subs. When did you get started with sim racing? Tell us your backstory. I think I've already mentioned that. It was when I found iRacing on Steam in 2017, thinking it was just a cheap game, and then quickly realised that it it wasn't just a cheap game, it was a subscription-based service that would take all my money over the next 3 years. So some black guy says, congrats mate, you deserve it, looking forward to continued growth. What's your favourite game outside of iRacing? What first got you into gaming sim racing? The favourite game outside of iRacing would probably FIFA or something like that. Oh no, Battlefield 4. I played that to death. Battlefield 4 on the PS4. I hammered that. And what first got you into gaming sim racing? I've always been a gamer, as I mentioned earlier on, right from the 80s with the Spectrums, Commodores, Amigas. So in sim racing, I've always had a love for racing games as such. I remember Destruction Derby on the PlayStation, the first PlayStation. Oh, it's great. So that's there. So, Terrell, what setup would you recommend for a noob? Couldn't live in a Logitech G920 on a wooden rig, but like to grab a CSL Elite or something along those lines. Since I've heard they feel better, I can't get over belt grinding feeling. I can't get over the belt grinding feeling of being able to tell when the belts work. Well, going from a G920, if you can get up to a Fanatec, a CSL Elite or a Club Sport, that's a massive, huge improvement over the 920. Yeah, so that would be my advice. If you can afford it, I mean, obviously just do what you can afford. But yeah, that would be my advice. That would be my route if I was you. Rolf Anderson, what is your favourite in real life racing series? Extra question, what teams and drivers are you cheering for? I don't really follow any of it, Rolf. I'm embarrassed to say I don't really follow it. I think I mentioned earlier on, like watching touring cars. I like watching the motorcycle racing, the TT, MotoGP and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I don't really root for anybody. Obviously in Formula 1, rooting for Lando because he's an iRacer, so and a fellow Brit. So next one from Super GT. Hello, Steve. Big congrats on the 10k when you inevitably get there. Cheers. What made you start your YouTube channel in the beginning? I think I touched on that, Steve. Me and my son started one up, and it was just a bit of a project, father-son project. And that was it, really. And I used to put some motorcycle stuff on there that I had that I used to fire on for motorcycles or track days. I think there's some like really old track day stuff on there. So that's really what started it. And I've not really had an agenda or any motive for where it's going to go. So that's pretty much it. So next one is from Auntie. Which year did you start sim racing? 2017, Auntie. Satch, do you still do motocross and fall off your bike lots? No, I don't do motocross. Little story with the motocross. I hadn't had a motocross bike for probably 20 years. And my son, James, who you might have seen on the channel from time to time, he had a KX85, but he was too small to go on the big tracks with the adults, but he was too big to go on the little track with the kids. He was too fast for that. So I thought, right, well, what I should do is I'll buy a motocross bike, then I can take him out on the bigger tracks and kind of chaperone him round. So I bought a 2013 CRF 450. I thought, that's just a 450. I was used to road bikes, like R1s, ZX10s. I was used to big, fast road bikes. I thought it's only a little 450. So one of the first times I went out with him, I tried to do a jump like there was a triple. It wasn't a massive triple. It was maybe, I don't know, 5 meters from one side of it to the other. It wasn't huge, but I didn't commit to it. There was a guy behind us, and I cased the landing part, and it sent me about 10 feet up in the air, and I smashed all my shoulder, broke my collarbone, separated my shoulder, broke my shoulder blade. So that's a backstory with motocross. So I don't do it now. Seung Ho Kim, congratulations, thank you, man. From Ricky Vong, how long have you been sim racer, and have you been to the Macau Grand Prix ever? And also greetings from Macau. Well, Ricky, hello to you in Macau. No, I've never been to the Macau Grand Prix. I've watched it on TV. Sim racing since 2017. Onu Kalaisi. Congrats, Dave. Can you please do the Learn the Track series of the Porsche Cup? I don't think I'm good enough to do, or competitive enough to do a Learn the Track series, but it's something to think about. I'll have a think about that. Drew Gilbert. Hey, Dave, love the videos. I was curious if you've had any racing background or just a hobby. No, just a hobby. like I've mentioned, I've always liked fast bikes. Done quite a few track days. I've done Alton Park, Donington, Cadwell, Croft. Done a few. Knockhill. But yeah, so it's just really a hobby, really. Carl, long-term goals regarding racing YouTube. No real goals, as I mentioned before. Just going with the flow, Carl. Just enjoying it, really. Charlie Stout, what would you say to a dad that doesn't let his son an iRacing account because he's afraid that the son will mess up his perfect A-class SR? Please help me. Charlie, you're just going to have to live with it. I wouldn't let my son mess up my iRacing either, and I don't think any of us would. So Charlie, get him to create an account for you. Tell him to pay for your iRacing account. That's the answer. Andrew Brewer, hello Andrew. Congrats. No, that's the other one. Hi Dave. Well, 10k. What a dream come true. What direction would you like to see iRacing go in the future? Andrew, blimey, what would I like iRacing to do in the future? I think iRacing's got the formula for iRacing. I think is great. I think the way they do it is great. I would like to see license classes, higher license classes for more difficult series like IMSA. I'd like that to be an A license, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a good driver, does it? So it's a difficult one. I'd like to see more weight being added to the penalty system if you get demoted. So fair enough, do the fast track promotion. But if you get demoted, then I think it should take you longer to get it back up because you've obviously been unsafe to lose your license. So for the first promotion, fast track, but every other promotion thereafter, then you've got to do something a bit more than just race clean for half a dozen races. And as far as iRacing in the future, tyre compounds, I'd love to see different tyre compounds. I think that would make endurance racing a little bit more interesting. Genetics 604, have you driven many cars in real life on track or done any racing? Never driven a car on track in my life. Fade Dale, are you a driver for a job, bus or taxi? No. Well, kind of. I do drive in my job, but I'm not a driver as such. It's the Goose. Hi Dave, congratulations. What's your background in motorsport? And has that had an impact on you stepping into sim racing? As mentioned, just track days, motorcycles, not really made an impact on my sim racing career. Paul Cook, congratulations mate, it's the next 10th thou. Keep the great work. Thank you, Paul. Let's have a look here. So Ramjet X, I had a 200 party on my channel, not 1,000, just 100. Nobody showed up. I had a blast, had a few drinks, sang some songs, cried in the shower, that sort of thing. I'm expecting big things. Oh, nice one. Right, Sneaky Deaky 355. Congrats, Dave. Questioned has to do with your OBS settings and how your videos look so crisp. Mine don't render nearly as nice, and my FPS takes a significant hit when I'm recording. Like you, I run Q2's overlay, which I like to include in the recording, but I have to set up just to record everything on my main screen. Maybe this is impacting performance. Also, I run triples 90% of the time, but once I tried to record a race in VR, the Q2 overlay in the video for viewers. But my FPS in VR went from 90 to 50. I guess you're asking my OBS settings there. Do you use NVENC or the X264? So unless you've got a really, really good processor, I would use the NVIDIA encoder or your graphics card encoder there. I use CRF with a number of 19, I think it is, or 17. My file sizes are quite big. So for an IMSA race, I think my recording file is about 30 gigabytes. So I think a CRF in the recording 19, record on an SSD. That's pretty much it, really. Lower your frame rate in game a bit. I did when I didn't have my frame rate capped, or if I had it capped at 144 hertz, I noticed that you've got to leave your graphics card a little bit of headroom to do its job. So just reduce your frame rate in game. That should help loads. Glenergy, amazing Dave, 10,000 subs already. I've got one question. How do you make it look so easy? Cheers, Glenn. It's not easy. I'm like a swan. On the surface, nice and peaceful, but underneath, I'm paddling like crazy. So it's not. I don't find it easy at all. Good fun though, innit? But I don't find it easy, Glenn. Lee Race 89, massive achievement. Thank you, man. How did you do it as far as how do you start finding people to sub to your channel? Was it merely sharing your streams to communities and social media groups? I didn't really promote the channel at all. I uploaded what I uploaded, and that was it really. If people find it, great. If they don't, nothing you can do. Just make sure you put your hashtags in, sort of your tags. Make sure your description's right. Good thumbnail always helps. That's one thing I'm terrible at. Is really I don't really spend any time on that. It's like 2 minutes with a thumbnail. So yeah, just make sure your description's right. Make sure your content's okay. Put a camera on. People want to see who's racing, don't they? So that's my answer to that. Johnny D, congrats on the 10k. What's your profession? I'm a civil servant. Any advice to do players who wish to build? Any advice to do players who wish to build a decent sim rig? I built my own. There was a guy on YouTube, Five Tojo, who's a friend of mine now, Stuart, ex-teammate at Asymmetric. He had a video with a piece of software, I can't remember what it's called now, how to design your own sim rig with Aluminium Profile. And he did half the video and didn't do the end bit. So I kind of copied his video and did the end bit showing the results. So Stuart, if you're watching. So that's what I would do. But now, and I kind of bought the aluminium, that's where I was going. I bought the Aluminium Profile separately. But now, companies, they're a lot cheaper now than they were when I built mine. I think it was about 18 months ago now. Are you retired SAS, says Tyler. No, I'm not. Where are these community events, says Tyler again. This Sunday. And another one from Tyler. How does one communicate with you? Discord. I would like to be your bronze driver in some endurance races. Maybe we can run some tests to see if I'm up to your standards. I'm on Discord, Tyler. Jump on there, mate. I'm on Discord. I've got a Facebook page now, Dave Cam Sim Racing Community. Search that on Facebook. You might find it. I don't know if you can find it now. Constrictor, well done on the 10k. Thank you, man. What are the sim racing broadcasters and content creators do you watch, if any? And who's your favourite if you're willing to share that info? Oh, blimey. I watch the main ones, Jimmy. I watch Matt. Matt's always good fun to watch. Rob Plumley can do, see, I watch him quite a bit. Webber's Racing on Twitch. There's loads. There's loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. I watch lots. I don't really have a favourite. No, I don't really have a favourite at all, really. I watch lots religiously. Sim Racing 604's really good. Chris Hay. Depends what you're after, really. I like review videos. Sim Racing Garage. I watch Barry Rowlands all the time. He's got some cracking stuff on there. I even watch things when I'm not even going to buy them. I just watch him. He's just so chilled out. So Charles K, how much practice do you put in, and how do you transfer your skills to the car? Any tips on getting out of a rut in terms of progression to help stop the yo-yo effect? Charles, not much practice, to be honest, now. But I do have a lot of experience with racing over the last 3 years, so that helps. And you kind of get used to. And I've stuck to one sim, really. I've not really raced any other sims, so I think that helps as well, even though I've jumped from car to car to car. So any tips on getting out of a rut? Try and figure out where you're going wrong. Try and figure out why you're not progressing. Do you keep crashing, or are you just off pace? And if you're off pace, have a look at why. Subscribe to VRS for a month, and then just have a look at your the telemetry on VRS or something like that, or Mortec or whatever it is you use. Have a look at telemetry and see what you're doing. Are you braking later? Are you getting on the gas later? And if it's crashing, why do you keep crashing? And then just work on that. Just work on kind of spotting the incidents as they happen. And that is them all. Oh my word. Crikey. That is them all. So, thank you everybody for asking questions. It's gone on a bit. It's an hour long, this one now, so I do apologise. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to everybody who watches, subscribes, takes part in the chat, comments, jumps in on the live stream, the channel members, the people that donate to the channel. It all helps me improve things, so thanks so much. A like on a video always helps me loads as well, so thanks everybody so much for supporting the channel. You don't know how much it means. So I'll sign off for now. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you later. Cheers.